Paul waited 16 years to finally make it to the NBA Finals, but the quest for an NBA championship ended in 6 games with the all-star point guard losing out. CP3 has an opt-out option that can make him a free agent this offseason, leaving our very own Mark Spears to speculate. Will Chris Paul run it back with Phoenix with the Suns losing in the finals? The focus turns to the point guard's future. Can LeBron and Lakers be a threat for CP? Now, the Lakers can choose to sign CP3, or there's also been talks of Washington Wizards star Russell Westbrook being a potential candidate to move back home to Los Angeles. I think he's from Long Beach, in a sign-and-trade deal per Mark Spears. So my question to you, Perk, who should the Lakers target, Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook?
Well, you know what? With all due respect, Molly, to CP3, you got to go with the Brody. I'm going with Russell Westbrook. We're talking about a guy that is still in his prime. We're talking about a guy that's one of the most polarizing guys in this league. We saw what he did the second half of the season last season, putting up monster triple-doubles when the Wizards were 1,500 games down from being a 500 team. He carried that team and willed them to the playoffs. Now, it didn't go well because he didn't have the personnel, but you put the Brody back home. It takes pressure off LeBron James, who's getting up in age, going into year 19, and now you have Russell Westbrook, a guy that you could pair with Anthony Davis, a guy that's going to take pressure off of them, a guy that doesn't get enough credit for making others around him better. We're talking about a guy that led the league in assists for three times throughout his career. He led the league this year, right? Russell Westbrook is a guy that can also play off the ball. I know that he can't knock down shots like people want him to, but one thing Russell Westbrook is good at, very good at, is slashing to the basket. He's good at getting out in transition. So if I'm the Lakers, I would really consider targeting Russell Westbrook over CP3.
Perk, I know he the Brody, man, but sometimes he can't hit the ocean if he was in a boat, right? And what the Lakers need is spacing. Why do they need spacing? Because LeBron is a guy who likes to drive, and also he's going to be driving in transition to where Anthony Davis occupies that real estate. So I want somebody like CP3 that can come down and facilitate, that can take the pressure off, much like Rondo did a couple of seasons ago when they won the championship. It was Rondo's basketball acumen, his ability to get guys lined up in the right place. And I'm not saying that Russell can't do that, but every once in a while, when they're sloughing off and they're trying to double Davis or double LeBron when he decides going to block, I want somebody that can be confident, can knock down the three and not start a fast break on the other end, man, because he's building bricks with his house.
Well, look, first of all, boy, look, let me tell you this. All right, see, people get caught up in the moment, and people tend to forget that Russell Westbrook is a guy that has been to the NBA Finals. Russell Westbrook is a guy that has been to multiple conference finals. Russell Westbrook is battle-tested. Russell Westbrook knows what it takes. I played with Russell Westbrook. I watched him elevate in those moments. Hell, I even watched him give CP3 that work and beat him when he was going against the Los Angeles Clippers. So, look, we all know that the Brody, his weakness is what? Shooting the mid-range, and we said that about Giannis. His weakness is what? Shooting the jump shot, shooting the free throws. But guess what? Giannis proved us all wrong. And when you have that Mamba mentality, which Kobe Bryant only blessed a few with, Giannis was one, Russell Westbrook was another. He blessed them with that because they will to win and not to stop competing, no matter what the circumstances are.
No, I appreciate that. And listen, you can't go wrong with either one. I think either one that they can ship Kuzma off somewhere, I think is a plus, right? But I think that Chris Paul just gives them a little bit more of what they need, a floor general, somebody that can understand the temperature of the game, know when to be aggressive, know how to get in the lane, but also know how to do the little things. And, we're splitting hairs when we're talking about them. Just for my preference, I think the difference is the fact that I have a little bit more faith in CP3 and being able to hit open shots and spread the court and open everything up. Because the Lakers, when they lost Danny Green, they lost shooters, right? They lost the ability to spread the court, and everybody can pack the defense in. And LeBron is streaky at times as well. So when he's not out there, that gives you another floor general that can get them in their proper sets.
Berg, let me ask you this. I know the Lakers did try to get CP3 before. If you're Chris Paul, what would you want to do? Would you stay in Phoenix, or want to go to L.A. with LeBron?
Well, if I'm CP3, I want to go to L.A. Molly, I'm about to turn 37, right? CP3 is about to turn 37. And we all know he wants to top off his career with winning the championship. And you have to put yourself in the best position possible to do that. What is that? Go and team up with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, especially the way that the West is looking right now. The West is wide open. You have Klay Thompson coming back for the Golden State Warriors, but he's coming off an ACL injury and an Achilles tear. I'm not saying he's not going to be Klay. You look at the Utah Jazz. We saw what happened to them this season. The Clippers sent them home, and Kawhi got hurt in the middle of the series. We look at the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't expect Kawhi to be back. So if I'm CP3, I'm looking at it, I'm like, LeBron James is going to come back healthy. We know that. We know Anthony Davis is going to come back on a mission. We know that he didn't like how he finished the season off. And when we look at what they done in the bubble, if you're CP3, you like, you know what? I don't need to be a first option guy. I don't need to be a second option guy, but I can be a third option guy, a guy that could come in with the second unit and control the offense and get mine off. But when need be, I could attack. But when I'm on the floor with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, I could be that third option guy and take some pressure.
Skills and what a brother brings to the table. This dude ain't on KD's level. I don't want to hear that. He's not Kevin Durant.
Well,
let's stop that right now.
The question was this version of Giannis. This version of Giannis hit 90% of his free throws.
Hold on, wait a minute. I know what the hell the question was. I'm answering it. I'm not you. I didn't dance and moonwalk
so you don't get
or
it right.
rap. I'm answering the question directly. I don't give a damn what you saw last night. He's not better than Kevin Durant. What Giannis did last night definitely deserves to be applauded. But one of the biggest reasons we have to applaud him is because of what we saw was such an aberration for him as it pertains to the free throws is what I'm talking about. That ain't nothing for Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant shot 17 for 19 from the free throw line, we'd be like, damn, he missed 2 free throws. That's what we'd be like. We wouldn't think about the 17 he made. We think about the 2 he missed because he normally doesn't miss them. He's a career 85% plus shooter from the free throw line.
Right,
he's a career 28-point per game scorer. He's a sniper, long range, 6'11" with a 7'6" wingspan. Giannis ain't that dude. Giannis is great. Giannis is a champion. He is somebody that has elevated himself to being one of the preeminent faces in the National Basketball Association. No question about that. I give you that. He's top 3. I even agree with you there. You want to go there? That's fine. But we need to talk about knocking guys like Kawhi or others off the pedestal. When we're talking about the best in the game of basketball, resumes do matter. It doesn't matter what just happened immediately because of the plethora of injuries you yourself pointed to, Max. We've got guys that have been injured and has been out, and we don't hold that against them. We don't use that as an excuse to knock them off the pedestal. We wouldn't be calling Giannis less than great if Giannis couldn't play in the NBA Finals because of that hyperextended left right knee that he suffered. So we got to ultimately look at their resume and their skill set. And when it comes to skills, especially with those Beetlejuice eyes of yours, I keep telling you about that. The one man on this planet that does not need glasses is you. To sit up there and talk about him as the best in the world, I appreciate the fact that you just said he's top 3, but he's in the discussion. No, he ain't better than Kevin Durant.
Well,
let's pump those brakes.
Look, first of all, if we assume he's a 90% free throw shooter, I don't think we can assume that. But assuming what we saw last night is him, like if you can't put him on the line, if you can't put Giannis on the line as a strategy, good luck, because he has gotten better since the guy who won 2 MVPs under pressure. He can find the open man better than he ever could. He doesn't have to initiate the offense every time. But also you have to consider this. What he said at the podium last night when he says, I could have gone somewhere and joined a super team. I don't think he was talking about KD. Might have been talking about a teammate of KD. But it could apply to KD. He didn't go and chase the ring. He stayed right where he was. He got lucky that Brooklyn got hurt, but no one's beating a team with KD, Harden, and Kyrie all healthy. That's not on Giannis. That's just no one could do it. So he got to look. But he also got hurt, played through it, came back, played huge, hit his free throws, and didn't ring chase. It all adds up. Like, he doesn't have guard skills and perimeter skills that KD has. That's true. But he has other stuff that KD doesn't have in the paint. He is with KD and LeBron in the conversation.
I just think that America needs to know the only reason I'm having this conversation with you is because I'm obligated to do so because we're doing First Take. Because if you were somebody on the street that brought up the same argument, I'd walk the hell away from you and simply ignore you because it makes no sense. The fact of the matter is that the discussion about the validity or the authenticity of a particular championship is a separate subject. If you want to talk about one ring chasing compared to the other, that's a different discussion, and I concede that. I understand that. I'm talking talent. I'm talking watching the game of basketball and seeing what a brother does from a skilled position.
Then of course KD is more skilled.
He's not on KD's
Yeah, but
level.
there were more skilled players than Shaq, too. There were more skilled players than Shaq, but none of them were better than Shaq. So you call Shaq, for example, the most dominant. That's really a way of just saying he's the most effective. That's another way of saying he's the best. And KD has more skills. But you know what KD hasn't done? KD hasn't shown that he could take a team that's just in the mix, not a dominant team, and win a championship. Giannis just did. Giannis just did that.
Max, zip it, bro. Because your argument goes right out the window because just days ago, you were getting on everybody talking about how lucky Milwaukee was because of the plethora of injuries. You literally said on the air that this championship you wouldn't attach an asterisk to it if you had to, but ultimately you pointed out how one injury after another got in the way to somewhat give fodder to the. Wait a minute, I heard you. Listen, you said those things. So what I'm trying to say is ignore all of that. Forget all of that for a second. Just focus on the skill. That's what this conversation is about.
But and sometimes the more skilled player's not as good.
No. What happens is you change the narrative and you change the subject for your liking. I don't particularly have any interest in that discussion. I'm talking from a basketball skilled perspective.
That's your
Giannis
definition.
is phenomenal. He is great, but he ain't Kevin Durant.
Right. So if we have this debate, if we have this debate according to your definition of what best means, which incidentally is incorrect, then of course you're going to win the debate. But the most skilled player is not always the best player. For example, there were many more skilled players than Joe. No, you time out.
First Take is on the television. Look at the bottom line.
Time in.
Giannis, the best player on the planet. That was the question.
Was the best
I answered the question.
Shaq was the best player on the planet, even when he wasn't the most skilled, because he was most physically dominant. You and I agree. If you make me order them right now, I would say LeBron, KD, Giannis. But I can't prove that. Giannis is right there with them. And best means the most effective. And the most skilled player is not the most effective if someone else can impose their physical will.
So Max Kellerman is on national television telling people what the definition